Hello there, moms and dads. A very warm welcome to another episode of Today's Parent, where we endeavor to connect you with experts and provide you with information to grow you in your parenting journey. I'm your host, Christine Casina. In today's episode, we are going to talk about the importance of developing a good relationship with the school that your child goes to. I hope you're going to learn something from our counseling psychologist, Susan Gatia, who's back with us to share with us tips that will help grow us. Susan, how are you?
Very well.
You know, I'm just thinking when it comes to education, growing up, I'm reflecting on way back when. Growing up, we were told education is the key. Like education was everything, the fundamental basic of what makes you successful in life, isn't it?
Right.
I have a random question for you. How did the protractor help you in life?
Today I use the ruler part of the protractor for
Where?
underlining, but not the rest of it.
Is it? You know, we really did emphasize on education. And I know it is very important. And now that the bulk of the time our children spend time in school, a lot of time in school, it is important for us to develop a good relationship with the school, isn't it?
Right.
Why is that important?
The school and the parent, they are in partnership. They are in partnership for the success of the child. The school, or the teachers in the school, they are the professional experts in terms of education. They're the ones who went to school, the curriculum, they know what at the end of the day they want to accomplish.
Right.
The parent is the one who knows their child. They know the personality of the child. They know they are the caretakers, quote unquote, of this child, and they know them. And so both need to work in partnership so that this child can be helped and supported to do well academically.
So of course, academic performance remains one of the most important areas as parents that we want to develop, to develop our children.
Exactly.
Having that relationship with your child's school, how do you develop that first of all?
A good relationship with the school? You see, the school communicates to the parent, either formally or informally. And the parents, will use the diary to communicate to the school. And that is where that's where the relationship between a parent and the school comes in. It's
Right.
basically through communication. There are constant emails we get from schools. There are constant notes about maybe at the beginning of the term. The school will communicate how they envision the term will be. Maybe their goals, what they hope, the trips they will make. They even give the dates. Of course, some parents will not look at that. But of course, an ideal parent will look at that and take note so that they can free up that time.
Yeah.
So that they can be available for their child. And so a relationship is where I'm in tabs with the school to know what is going on. Did I check what is the school saying every day? What is my child's school teacher saying, communicating? Because if they keep communicating and I'm not responding, that's a one-sided relationship. And therefore, it is important for the parent and the teacher to work to communicate with each other. That enhances the relationship because the relationship is based on the child. I want to know what's happening in school, but also the teacher needs to know what's happening at home. Yes.
Speaking about communication, way back when you needed to find out what's going on in your child's life in school, you'd find, mom and dad coming to school. And things have changed so much. Even when it comes to closing day, the one thing we used to be, so fearful of was closing day because, your parent would come and then they'd have a conversation with your teacher. They would tell your parent how you're performing. And it was just different. But with digital, you get your child's results via SMS, or there's an app where you can then log on and see how your child has performed. Yes. How do we balance old school and new school that then we are able to go back and just have that detailed, in-depth information of how our child is doing in school?
Digital is an efficient way of communicating, but it cannot replace the face-to-face talk. Of course, as a counseling psychologist, I want to see what the body language of the teacher. at its best is even being able to go when there is a, for example, parent-teacher conference. Need to be able to go with my daughter or my son to school so that they can hear for themselves how the teacher feels about them. That cannot be replaced by online.
No.
It cannot. Because it gives me the forum to ask questions. It gives the child forum to ask questions. It gives the teacher the forum to be able to express themselves and back and forth. So you can't replace. Maybe general emails.
Yeah.
What the school intends to do, that can be on email. They don't have to call us for a baraza to go and hear what's happening.
So you feel as today's parents, we still need to be proactive to go to our children's schools for that one-on-one, find out how they're doing.
Exactly.
How often should we do that? Every term? Once a year? Twice a year?
Most schools communicate with the parents how, normally parent-teacher conference is once a term. Some schools will do it in between the term, others will do it at the end. But at least the parent should make time for that, if they value their child, not even the school, if they value their child.
The child.
Because I am interested in knowing how is my child doing in school, not just academically, but even in terms of character. And so I should be able to block that time. Unless I'm sick, I must make time for that.
Okay.
There are some schools of thought where they think that the parent should make an impromptu visit and go and sit in class. I was just passing around to see what's going on. Some schools don't take it well.
Yeah.
But there's a part for it where if my son knows or my daughter knows that mom can pass here anytime, it provides a sense of accountability.
I hear you.
Yes.
Susan, as a counseling psychologist, you have mentioned that the school and the parents need to work together.
Yes.
What do I need to disclose as a parent to the teacher when it comes to my child? Because they could be possibly doing something in class that with the information I was to share with them of what is happening at home, it would then help the teacher to teach better.
Okay. Let's say there is an event, a change of things, sense of change of what? Several things are changing at the home front, which affect the child either way, negatively especially. I believe the teacher should know, for example, if there is a divorce going through. Why? Because definitely children are affected by separation and by divorce. Or if this child has, or one of the parents is sick, things that would make a child worry or affect their well-being in school, the teacher needs to know so that they can prepare how to handle them. They don't begin, because a child who has been working well, all of a sudden drops. The teacher needs to know, is there something that has changed at home? And the teacher then is equipped or equips themselves to know, how then do I handle this child so that they are not destroyed by what is happening.
By events at home. Okay.
Yes.
What are the consequences, Susan, if we don't work with the school, just work together as a team? What are the consequences that could happen if we don't work, as a team? Us as home as parents and working together with the teachers. What are the consequences that could happen?
Definitely will affect the child academic performance, because I won't support them without knowing what's going on as a parent. The teacher will not be interested so much because, as I said, it's a partnership. Where there is no partnership, there is no obligation. I as a teacher then, I will just teach and go home. I've done my thing and I go home. As a parent, or you've come from school, okay, fine. That affects the child's performance. There is no accountability both at school and both and at home. So if there's something, for example, like a parent needs to know about, let's say, the performance or a math concept, and the child is not understanding, and the teacher maybe is overwhelmed. As a parent, I need to see, my son or my daughter has gone very slowly in this area. Can I supplement? In the absence of that, they don't catch up. They continue to go down.
To go down.
And I said also the issue of accountability. If I know my mom is involved in the school, there's a sense in which I up my game as a student.
Right.
And maybe I'll try to behave better when I know there's accountability. When we were in primary school, we used to be told the children of primary school teachers, they didn't have a chance to behave negatively, to misbehave in school. Why? Because the mother is there.
Was your mother a teacher?
No, she wasn't. But they used to live nearby. So I knew it is just a walking distance before the teacher, goes to the shop, tells my dad this is what has been happening, and it wouldn't be nice.
There's a question that has come in from Pamela. And Pamela's question is, if I don't like my child's teacher, how do I deal with that?
And the question would be, why don't you like them? Why are you entrusting your child with somebody you don't like? Surely you don't like your child. It's like, I entrust my child with you and I don't like you. Why? Why would I do that?
But there are certain cases like that. I'm sure Pamela speaks for a lot of parents. Maybe you have an issue or two with the school. Could be a teacher, could be something in the school.
If something has to do with something the teacher did, one of the things that is important is for the parent to initiate dialogue.
So the parent needs to initiate dialogue.
Dialogue with the teacher or with the school. And communicate. And when you present yourself there, I need to have a positive attitude so that even the way I express myself to the teacher, I'm not accusing them, because this is a person.
How can you have that positive attitude and you're already coming in, you're at war,
Yes. Now, it is an attitude that I need to sort out myself first. I need to sort myself first and deal with my anger so that I can be in a good position to be civil when I'm talking. Because
civil.
Yes.
I like that.
I need to be able to communicate to the teacher in a way that honors them. They are making a contribution to my child, which I'm not able to make.
Right.
So I need to honor and respect their position as a teacher. And when I'm communicating, my choice of words need to show respect.
Choice of words.
Yes.
I'm sure there are cases where, a parent comes into a school and, they go for the parent or on the teacher or the headmaster.
Yes. Of course, that won't work for you because you're insulting everyone in school, and then you send your child. What is it that makes you think that they're going to treat the child better or good?
How can that affect the child?
Of course, the teachers, because they are human beings, they'll victimize this child.
Wow.
If this child has a problem, nobody will pay attention to even supporting them at all. Relationships. We are meant to relate well. When we were young, we were told, work with relationships. Maintain everywhere you go. Is it in the supermarket? Is it in the school? Is it in the mosque or in the church? Yeah. Where you go? Strive to develop relationships. They'll take you far.
Define for me common courtesy before we go on the break, because I think some of these things is just about common courtesy. The way you say it, the way you speak to me is the way I'll speak, I'll speak to you. How can we develop, that courtesy when we are dealing with teachers, knowing that they're humans as well?
Of course, one of the things that comes to mind is, and as I said, parent-teacher is about communication. My choice of words. When I drop my child to school, do I say hello? Do I make it intentional? To say, hi, Mwalimu, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Not about my daughter, them as a person. How are you doing? Are you okay? Yes. And that shows concern. Of course, when there will be an issue, they will feel there's an open communication between me and them.
There's a channel where we can communicate.
We can communicate.
So
greet them. Say thank you. Just the common things that we do. Not just saying noted.
Not
in your child diary, noted. What?
What have you noted?
Or if it's a phone call, yes, phone call. You don't answer phone call. If you're not able to answer, you can. So courtesy is like just communicating in an honoring way. When they call, I'm not able to answer, I call back.
Yeah.
When they've done something, at the end of the term, I should be able to verbally say, thank you for supporting my child this term. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what we do, let's take a short break, and then when we come back, we can continue the conversation.
Thank you.
In today's conversation, we have counseling psychologist Susan Gatia. We are talking about how we can have a better relationship between us, the parents, and the school. I hope you've learned something so far. We are going to take a short break. We'll be back right after this. We are back from the break. Welcome back to today's episode of Today's Parent, where we are talking about how we can enhance the relationship between us and the school when it comes to matters education. Susan, you are our special guest for today. And as a counseling psychologist, I'm just wondering, when it comes to matters discipline, because a lot of parents, even when we were young, we remember the days when our mom or our dad was called to school that we've done something. When such a situation happens, because we feel as parents we know our child, how do you handle such a situation? You've been called, we suspect your child has been part of the group that started the strike, or they're doing A, B, C, D, E. How do you handle that as a parent?
Thank you for that question. When I am taking my child to school, from the best, in an ideal situation, I'm keeping close tabs with the child. I know them, I know what their weak areas, I know their character. There are certain things that I can be told my child did, and I'll be like, really? Is it for real?
Yeah.
But there are things that I can be told by the teacher, and I'm like, I think it could be true. But it is important to establish facts.
Establish the facts.
Yes. I'll go with my daughter to school and establish the facts with the teacher, find out exactly what happened. But that is after I've already talked to my daughter at home, and maybe they've owned up. I've told them about the consequences, that are fitting to that offense. Once we do the work at home with my daughter, then we can go to school, because the school is part of our community. And because I'm raising them up for the wider community. And if indeed she was caught in an offense or doing something wrong, she needs to face the consequences of the school. If it is not, then I need to find a mechanism to communicate to the school that actually my child may be innocent, but not negatively, where I announce and say and start insulting and go to the media and say this school is useless, this school is victimizing children. That is inappropriate and not necessary at all.
Susan, how about victimization? How do you handle when your child comes to you and they tell you, listen, mom, listen, dad, I know you came to school and this is the story that you are told, but you know me and you know me very, very well. I am not what they tell you that I am. Because in high school, a lot of us growing up, in high school, a lot of names were thrown around. And to the extent that somebody calls you, you're a witch or whatever it is, because maybe you look different, or somebody just wants to be a bully. And then there's always a way a story can become a reality, even when it's not. And you, the person who is in that situation, know the truth. You know the truth. But nobody believes you. The school doesn't believe you. Your parents don't believe you. You feel like the victim here. You're telling your parent that you're being victimized. How can a parent handle a situation like that?
Unfortunately, life is like that, Christine. There's so many people, I guess, I don't have the facts, who are in prison today. But they're innocent. There are many times we've been arrested on the road.
And you're innocent.
You're innocent. That's just how life is. Sometimes, and I need to tell my child to prepare them for an unjust world and an unfair world. But at my best, I want to defend my child. I want to stand with them. I don't want my child to be victimized in school. And because they went to school to learn and to be developed, not to be injured. Because again, when children are injured when they are young, it affects their growing up.
Absolutely.
You remember today, if you remember something, you can remember things that your teacher did or names that they called you. And sometimes they affect you. Maybe your teacher said, my teacher said when you were growing up, you are too short. So it affects my self-esteem today. I don't want to allow that. We need to operate with the teacher within the limits. Take care of my child when you're in school. Don't victimize them. Let me know when there's a problem. I will deal with it at home.
Okay.
But don't injure them. Don't destroy their future.
We've talked about discipline. How about we move to a situation where your child comes home and tells you that I am being bullied in school? How do you handle a bullying situation?
As a parent, I think it's good again to, I feel as if I'm repeating myself, but establish the facts.
Establish the facts.
when you say bullying, what exactly are you talking about?
Right.
If the child, you can see sometimes bullying is so physical. You can see somebody has been beaten, that there is evidence, or somebody has been called names. Maybe one day you can let it pass. But when a child begins to be affected emotionally, and you can see it's affecting, they are no longer playing, they come home, they don't want to do homework. So it means there's a problem that at school. And then you come to your senses and remember, my child had said that they're being bullied. I need to take action as a parent. I mean, if you hear I'm being beaten at my place of work and I'm living with you, surely the most appropriate thing to do for you out of concern is to find out.
Absolutely.
Is that what's going on at school, at work? And so I think as a parent, you should take action and go to school and find out, if it becomes the school is not listening, I think you're at liberty to transfer your child to another school.
Right. Speaking of, you did mention about parent-teacher conferences, could happen in the course of the term.
Yeah.
When those meetings are called, how do you as a parent get the most value out of them?
If I've been keeping in touch with the school all through from day one up to the time of the conference is not a surprise. Because I know, for example, how much schoolwork my child has done. I know their weak points. I'm not waiting to be told by the teacher, so I'm not waiting to be surprised. By the time I'm going to the teacher, as a parent, I should be able to know I have a general idea of what has been happening.
Right.
So, by the time you're going to the parent-teacher conference, you're just going to catch up with the teacher and to see whether your facts are actually the same as the teacher's. But then, of importance is to be able to actually come up with strategies for the following term of how to do it differently. But if you're not prepared, you have no idea what your child has been doing.
Yeah.
You're going to spend all the time hearing from the teacher. But if you're in terms, that parent conference becomes a strategy meeting.
Yeah.
Where you're going to figure out next term, how do we help this girl to up English?
Absolutely.
Yes.
How can we work together?
Yeah, so it is a process. You need to be present, not just showing up and you have no idea what has been happening with your child.
Right. Speaking of subjects, you've just reminded me of a situation where we went to the parent-teacher conference, and parents have a lot of opinion on everything and anything. So one of the things that were raised in this particular meeting is, how can we get the government to ban Kiswahili? And I was sitting in that meeting and I'm wondering, where are we going with this? So the parent then says, our children are really struggling with Kiswahili. We need to find a way to, to tell the government that this Kiswahili subject is not working. What is your take on that?
Did you learn Kiswahili yourself in school?
Oh, and it was not easy, by the way.
It was not
It was not easy.
But we pulled through. I think as parents, we can be tempted to be microwave. Just put the child in this system. I want everything to go smooth. I don't want my child to struggle. But we struggled. There's no subject that is easy. I don't want to let my child know, so long as it is hard, leave it. Quit.
When it gets hard, we quit.
We quit.
No, that can't be a lesson we teach our children.
What about when you're working and it becomes hard? Am I telling my son, quit? I need to be able to see what I'm saying as a parent. I need to look at the long-term effects on the child. Unless a child is completely stuck in a subject, there's no way I can make it a school thing that you should stop doing this subject because of my child.
Yeah.
I can take a tutor who can be able to help the child, but surely no quick solutions.
I hear you. Do you think sometimes we abdicate the role of us as parents to the teachers?
Any parent wants, once I send the child to school, bring them back with A.
And bring them perfect.
Yes, and I have no role. I have a role. I have a role as a parent, and I can't overemphasize that I need to make time after work to go home and check how far or how much did my child perform in school. In other words, the daily work, I need to be able to keep tabs with the daily work of my child.
So we need to go through the homework, not the house girl.
Not the house girl, not the house girl. This is my child. You know, we survived ourselves because maybe you come back home and your parents are still out in the shamba or whatever. If they're in Nairobi, they are still at work. But not today. Even the new curriculum, I think the parent need to be as involved as possible because it's a partnership between me and the teacher.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
You know, when it comes to matter school and our kids, it can be such a touchy subject. What tools can you share with our parents on how they can build that parent-teacher relationship?
I need to respect the teacher.
Number one, respect. Very important.
Respect the teacher. They are the professional who I'm entrusting with my child. I need to respect. When I respect them, my child will respect the teacher. If I dishonor them,
my child will dishonor, you
yes.
know? Yep, they'll dishonor the teacher.
I need to maintain a positive relationship with them. Simple.
Even if you don't like them.
And why don't you like them?
You're going back to that. But I get your point.
Yes, yes. I need to deal with my own hang-ups about people.
That's a good one.
Yes, I need to deal with them. And again, as I said in the beginning, I can't entrust an enemy with my child.
Absolutely.
Surely I don't like my child if I do that. But in enhancing that relationship, I need to be responsive to any communication that the school sends home.
Absolutely.
I need to look at what did the teacher say and avoid short replies.
Noted.
Noted. Thanks. I need to
okay.
reply. Yes, okay, okay. I need to be responsive. By the way, if I hear my daughter say that the teacher is unwell, and I have the number of the teacher, she is a human being, I'll make a point of calling.
Oh, that's a beautiful one.
Yes, because they're a human being. I need to find out, are you well? I was told you are not. Even if you just leave it at that, you can even say, I'm praying for you, and leave it at that. That teacher knows that actually you care. And of course, that gives them, when you have a teacher who feels that the parents care, they will feel supported to be able to work better and to support your children in turn.
All right.
Yes.
That's a beautiful way to end our episode today. Yes. Thank you so much, Susan, for coming to share.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Today's Parent, where we hosted counseling psychologist Susan Ngatia, who has shared with us pointers when it comes to building that good relationship between you and the school. I hope you've learned something from the pointers that she has shared. I have been your host, Christine Casina, and this has been Today's Parent. We've been here in studio at Little Cribs, the home of fun, exciting, durable, and affordable kids furniture. Please make sure you check them out. If you're looking for parenting resources, head on to www.supermamas.co.ke. We look forward to having you next time. Thank you for tuning in.